Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday and it's 2:00. So that means it's time for Top 5 Tuesday. I am your host from Crate Insider, Kate Dillon, and I am thrilled to be here today. I know I'm a few minutes late. Usually I actually just said it was 2:00, but I know it's like 2:13. We've got some new software we've been trying out. We tried it out on Unsealed on Sunday, and I really, really loved it. So let me take a look. And if you're here, go ahead and drop in the comments. Hopefully I put in the link where it says you've got to give StreamYard permission. So anyway, go ahead and say hi. One of the things that we do in this show, if you happen to be new here, then we do live giveaways. And I show you what those are in the beginning, and then we'll do a random number generated, giveaway at the end. Now, today's a little bit different. It's the first time. I think I'll probably be continuing with this, but we are going live on both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So it really doesn't matter which platform you're on. We're going to do a giveaway for each platform. So that's going to be a little bit fun, right? So let's start off with what I'm giving away. First of all, I have something from our friends at AFCO and ProShocks and Longacre, and I have this ProShocks t-shirt right here. This happens to be, I'll take a look at the size here. You can see it says ProShocks on the front. I actually really like this style. This is a really cool design. I might have to kind of emulate this. This one happens to be an adult small. So it just happens to be the size that I have. It is what it is. So just a big shout out to our friends over at AFCO and Longacre and ProShocks. And then next up, our second giveaway here. And I don't know, I'm just going to let Alex decide which ones. Alex is in the office here today, and he can decide which platform is going to get which t-shirt. I don't know. He can decide. So I've got a small there. And then here I have a 3X. So we're on both sides of the spectrum. This is our Crate Insider. It's our Refuse to Lose t-shirt. Thought about making that my sign for today, but that's a whole nother deal. So Refuse to Lose right here. And either way, all you need to do to win one of our giveaways is you can just drop in a comment. That's literally all you need to do. For our YouTube folks, I will with Facebook, you can send me a private message. If you are the winner, you'll be able to send me a private message with your address, and I'll get that sent out to you. And if you're on YouTube, I'll put in my email address so you can then, send that directly, not trying to get people's actual physical addresses, out there into the world. That's not really that cool. So I see some folks are here today. I see, oh my gosh, so many people here. I see Lucas and Storm and Jason and Major. And you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those into the comments as well. And I am more than happy to answer any questions that I can answer. I am more than happy to do that. See Major's here, and Daniel, Jody, and Tony. And Jennifer knew what my sign said last week. So that's awesome. See, Tyler is here, and Willie, Shane, Mikey, and Mikey's over here from YouTube. And Mikey does a lot of great job with videos. James and Jennifer and Dave. So many people here today. So thank you so much. Awesome. And let's see. Oh, I see. It says, I really enjoy your show, but Allison is my legal name, but my name is my nickname is Steve. I am a guy. Okay. Steve, thank you so much for letting me know that. I know you're on a lot of our broadcasts, and I will try to remember that for sure. Great. Oh, fire suits. Dustin's asking about fire suits. Dustin, just tell me what your actual question is, and I will be happy to, address it if I can. Now, I did want to bring in a featured product today, something that we haven't talked about a lot on the show before. And, it's just one of those things that I don't think that just seeing a picture online really does it justice. And this right here is our Winters 007 hubs. This happens to be a front hub. And if you wanted to see what it looked like, this is where it's an oil-filled hub, and it has angular contact bearings. This is the description there. So, there's really two schools of thought when it comes to bearings. You can either go with greased bearings or with the oil-filled hubs. And to me, it sounds like, I'm not a suspension person, but it really just sounds like they both work. They both work really well. And I just wanted to kind of show this off. The fluid that I would use inside of this would be our Daytona 1 RHO. And that's what we would use. So anyway, I just think this is Yes, it's a race car part, but I swear it's like a work of art. So I just want to just kind of show that off a little bit. And if you guys have any particular questions, even if it's something I can't answer, then I'm more than happy to try to dig into that for sure. And we'll drop in the links into with the description or into the comments. We'll drop links in so that you can find all of these products afterwards. And in fact, if you're not part of our email list, then I really encourage you to join our email list. And you can do that a few different ways, but just go to our website at CrateInsider.com. You can scroll to the bottom and put your first name and email address. Or you could go to like our tech articles and videos section, and we have like the 602 recommendations and the 604 recommendations. When you download those, you'll automatically be added to our email list. But after this show, every Tuesday, we do send out an email to our audience where we tell you, we give you all the links to all of the things that we've talked about on the show. So it's kind of just a nice little follow-up. So if you're not part of our email list, I definitely will invite you. I just want to invite you to the email list. All right, I'm going to see if there's any other questions. Dustin says that right here, good name fire suits. I'm looking at getting a new one. There's a lot of great companies out there. Of course, we do a lot of things with Velocita, so I'm going to give a shout out to Velocita. But you also have a lot of the other custom manufacturers as well, and you can look in your area. I know with any of the products, especially any custom things, this is our busiest time of year in the racing industry on this side of things, on the store, selling things and, manufacturing. It's always busy from January, but I always say the back order season kind of starts from February till kind of about April. But this is a busier year than it's ever been before. So you're going to want to make a few phone calls. And there's a lot of great manufacturers out there. I mean, Simpson makes good suits, and just my go-to is always Velocita. So love Bad Brad and his team over there at Velocita. Just giving him a shout out over there. Oh, Nigel says, Nigel has an answer. He says Scorpion Racewear. Nigel is in Australia, so I don't know. Actually, the both of you can connect with one another and, see if we can work something out there. So yes, that's, so I'm a little embarrassed, Nigel, because I've actually been on Nigel's podcast before. I'm embarrassed that I didn't mention your name there, Nigel, but yeah, for sure. And I just kind of have a couple of ready-made suits that I've got on the shelf, but I know a lot of racers like to go the custom route. So with that, again, continue to ask your questions, and I'm more than happy to address them. If you want to know about lead times or what product to pick in a particular category or something, those are all great questions to ask. And I try to keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on, and I'll do my best to share that. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into our top 5 this week. And I know there's a notebook around here someplace with my top 5. Oh, here we go. Oh, I did forget. Okay, before I go, this was a front hub with angular contact bearings, and this hub runs $329. So just so you know what the pricing is on that. All right, next up, where's top 5? In our number 5 spot this week, and if you're new here, we do a countdown. We are going to look at the receiver element. So if you're using a receiver, which is, a lot of racers use a receiver in order to communicate on the track, or to get communications, I should say. This is a listening device. Then the receiver element is a great choice. One of the things that I was at Bristol a couple weeks ago. I don't mean to continue to beat this dead horse or anything, but it was a fantastic time to be able to talk to racers and listen to their concerns and what works for them and what doesn't. And one thing that I've certainly heard is that one of the complaints, for lack of a better word, is having a receiver die, like you're on the track and then your battery dies. Well, with the receiver element, receiver has come out and they've really solved that problem. So number one, instead of using a AAA battery to power your receiver, instead, this is USB chargeable. So it comes with a USB cord, or a cord that will plug into a USB. So whether that is, I don't know if you're like me. I carry 2 phones. I have my Fitbit is USB charged. I have so many devices, my Kindle, my iPad, all these things are USB charged. And so I have a whole docking port and everything for that. But I also have a lot of camera gear. My GoPros are USB charged, all of that. So you can use a power block with a USB, and you could go ahead and plug that into a wall and have it ready to go. The really cool thing about the element is it also has a battery indicator. So just like your phone, when you can look at your phone and, you've got the little rectangle at the top that looks like a battery and it's either full or it's not. Well, that does the same thing. So that it's going to be charged. It takes about 4 hours to charge for the very first time. And then I don't know how long it charges, the recharges will take, but I do love that you've got this indicator. And so with this receiver element, it runs a $159 for the Pro package here. I get a little bit of help with my pricing here. So this happens to be the semi-pro package where it's got the semi-pro earphones and it has the receiver element. And now they just changed their packaging. I just got these. And so it's got this nice little plastic case for you to put all these items in. And looking at this, it runs $159.90. So I think that's a great bargain, great value, and I have them in stock. I just got a new shipment of them. So, thank you for a receiver for coming through for me on that. All right, next up in the number 4 spot is from our friends at DRP. And this is our DRP Wide 5 bearing spacer. So one thing that bearing spacers do, always in a crate car, anytime we're dealing with crate engines, one of our main things is we want to free them up. We cannot overcome with just having more horsepower. It's just not how it works. We've got what we've got. So we've got to try to look for other opportunities to get more horsepower or to free up or to cut down on friction. Those are all places that we're going to try to find those opportunities. And bearing spacers are a great way to go. Kind of a go-to. So this one happens to be the Wide 5, and that price on this runs $49.85. And again, it's another item that we keep in stock here at Crate Insider because we sell a lot of them. So they're great. All right, next up in the number 3 spot this week is from our friends at Schaefer's. So Schaefer's Citral right here. So the Citral, great cleaner, and I love how it smells. So it's some pretty hardcore stuff. At home, for anybody who is new to the show or doesn't know me, I don't have a race car. So it's kind of fun when I try to find products that have a use, for what I do. Well, I love this for cleaning my stovetop, honestly. It does a great job of cutting through the grease and it smells like oranges, but it's a really hardcore degreaser. It's heavy duty. So right here in these cans, the Citral can runs $11.95, and it definitely would highly recommend it. But again, this is not something I'm gonna use on my hands. It's not gonna be something I use on paint. It's hardcore, but it smells really, really good. So Citral in the number 3 spot. In the number 2 spot, we have a new product that's come out this year that we've been talking about quite a bit. And I'm really happy to see that it's right here in the top 5. And that is going to be our Daytona 1 1540. This is a crate racing oil. This was developed exactly for 602s, 604s, and CT 525s. This has been something that we have been asking for literally for years. For years, we have asked for a crate-specific oil, and we wanted it on the label. That's what we wanted. We wanted it on the label. We wanted it to say crate. See, I'm going to put it right there. Crate racing oil, which means it was developed for that. But what's really special about this Daytona 1 oil, this is a semi-synthetic, and it is really designed to be able to run at those higher temperatures. So it's one thing to know what your oil is going to, what it's going to happen at 0 degrees. It's another thing to know it at 100 degrees, but we don't race at either of those temperatures. What's important is what happens when we're at 200 degrees, 250 degrees. What happens then? Is the oil going to break down? And if you've ever found yourself in a situation where you're running a race and you feel like you're just kind of like falling off at the end of the race, then take a look at your oil. Take a look, and that might be an opportunity for you. And I know that we're going to really do well with this oil. It's also, I love the patent pending on PTRO. It means purpose tuned racing oil. Very, very in-depth program, something he's been working on for years. Buck over at Daytona 1, we work really closely with those guys, and it's a fantastic oil. So I'm really glad to see that it's in the top 5 this week. And this runs $142.20 a case. You get 12 in a case. You can also buy it by the quart. I try to keep things simple. I know in most cases when you buy in bulk that you save, but I know that a lot of times in racing, we only need like 7 quarts at a time. So I just kind of keep the same price for both of them. Whether you're buying it in quarts or cases, it's the same price just to make it easier for you. All right. Well, before we jump into our top spot, I'm going to see if there's any other questions. questions or comments, and we'll put them up on the screen here. And yes, Nigel says, hi, Kate from Australia. I love it when my Aussie friends are on. Tony says, here's a good recommendation. Tony says, I just got an Acello racewear suit. I love it. I also had a Velocita, and they're nice too. Great suggestion right there. David says he enjoyed meeting me at Bristol. I don't know why I said PRI. That's hilarious. I see Ted is here. And let's see, Debbie says, we had a lap receiver, but had a hard time getting to work properly. I see they have an updated version, info or opinion. I think, this is my opinion. Again, I mean, I'm not behind the wheel of these race cars, but when I look at these products, I really love the new receiver element where it has the USB charge. I feel like sometimes it's really hard to work with equipment that you have no feedback loop on. If I'm just kind of putting a battery in and, let's say if I'm plugging something into the wall and with just regular stuff, right? If it doesn't have some kind of a power indicator or something, I have a hard time knowing. I like to have some type of feedback. So with this element and now having this battery indicator on there, I think that's a game changer, because then that at least it has power, that it has enough charge to get you through. Whereas with the alternative, and some people are still going to be like, hey, I can't think ahead. I just want to have batteries in the hauler and I just want to go that route. Hey, they're great. I mean, you've got to find the choice that's going to work best for you. But I think that's going to be my suggestion, is to go with the receiver element. And it's only like $20 more than the other version of it. So yeah, whichever works for you. All right. Let's see here. Oh, Doug says, Kate, does the Dominator fan shroud work with the 3-blade plastic fan? Yeah, it does. So the Dominator fan shroud, I forget what the opening is, but it's fine with any of them. That fan shroud is meant for a late model radiator. And so with the late models, we generally use a 19-inch fan or a 17-inch fan. It'll work with both. And talking about plastic fans, kind of a spoiler alert here. Well, it's not really a spoiler alert, because we've been waiting to talk about the number one product of the week, and it's our race fan. So I want to show you how these go together and a couple of different configurations. So when you order a race fan from us, or as Doug mentioned, the plastic fan, then you start off with this hub, and this is an aluminum hub. It is 6060, I think it's 6061 T6 aluminum. I could be wrong, but it's all CNC machined. And then we do have what we're calling the plastic blades, but this is a little more in depth, or a little higher tech than just plastic. It actually has some Kevlar in it. It's some heavy duty stuff. And what I'm going to show you here is I have the version of the 17-inch fan. These are the blades that we'll make into a 17-inch fan. And so here we can put them, sometimes they like to be slippy slidey. And then what I like is it has this aircraft quality hardware right here. And that really keeps these blades really locked in. So you can do it as, let's say you wanted to go 2-blade, where they would just be across from one another, just like that. We can go 3-blade, where they're going to be equally spaced, like that, right there. Or we can go 4-blade. And then if you're doing this at home, I want to give you a little trick on this here. If I can hold all of this together at the same time, we're going to find out. It'll be interesting. This is one of those challenges of having little hands. So sometimes it's an advantage and sometimes it is not, but we're going to try it out. All right. So here I have it set up in the 4-blade configuration. And what I want to point out to you is that notice on left to right that we have one hole exposed on each side. And then on top and bottom, I have 2 holes, 2 holes at the top here. And then I have 2 holes on the bottom that are across from one another, because it's a little, when you're putting one of these together, you're like, they're not even. What's going on? So that's just like a little heads up. Our most popular, of course, is the 4-blade. 4-blade 17-inch is our most popular of all of the fans. And that's what I would recommend for most applications, whether you're in a dirt late model or in a modified, because those have smaller, or with a modified, you might even go with a 15-inch fan. And it's really going to do a good job of both cooling and not robbing as much horsepower from your engine as what we see with other different kinds of fans, like especially the steel fans that are out there. This will rob less. And will this fit in a Dominator fan shroud? The answer to that is yes. So any of those would work just fine with that. So great. Okay, I'm going to see if there's any other questions here. And oh my goodness, there's a really long one right here. And Jennifer says, and I don't even pre-read this. Jennifer says, I attended Megan Meyer's Racing e-course workshop driven by social, and she offered several topics, many helpful tips and essentials. Strategy, yes. Oh, great. And thank you for recommending. Yeah, Megan's a friend of mine, and she does a great job with, she's a former drag racer. She's retired now, and she teaches social media and sponsorship strategies for race car drivers. And we worked together on some stuff. So I'm really glad that worked out for you, Jennifer. That's great. And let's see. Cody says, what is a good hardwire transponder? Gosh, that's a really good question. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know the answer to that one, but especially when you mention hardwired. That's something I would have to look into, and nothing that anybody's asked me before, because a lot of times that's kind of an on-track thing or a very series specific thing. So there we go. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and announce our winners this week. So for our Facebook winner, where we're going to give away, we have this Pro Shock shirt. It just happens to be a small, is Willie Blackburn. So Willie Blackburn, if you would, please send Crate Insider a private message with your address, and we will send this out to you. And then also from YouTube, we have our Refuse to Lose t-shirt right here. Happens to be a 3X. And this is going to Doug Romero. Now, Doug, I know you also follow us on Facebook, so that's probably going to be easiest if you just send us a private message over on Facebook, and then with your address, and we'll get that sent out to you. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Thank you so much for being part of the show. And I will look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Have a great week.